Welcome, travelers, to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable. For when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
Battle not with monsters, lest ye be a monster, and if you gaze into the abyss gazes into you. Friedrich Nietzsche. There's something looking at me in the corner of my room. I threw one barely half-opened eye towards my ancient alarm clock in an attempt to see what time it is. 3 a.m. Of course, we all see things late at night. Things that shouldn't be there, because they usually aren't. Maybe after a stressful night of sleep, I'll wake up to see something just dart out of my vision. I'm sure people have seen shadows and heard weird noises in the dead of night. I can't explain most of these away. After your brain has been in sleep mode, for lack of a better term, your perception is not as calibrated as it is during your waking life. How many times have you seen what you know as a pile of clothing in a chair or in the corner and mistaken it for one of the devil's most hideous creatures? I hope what I'm seeing now is just a pile of dirty laundry. It's not a pile of laundry. As my eyes and brain were working overtime, trying to assure me it was not an intruder or demon, I heard a quiet explosion of air come from the pile of clothing. A snort, a tiny stream of air, leaked out of what would appear to be 2 small holes in the face. Can you imagine how many voices and thoughts go through your head when you realize that something or some possible deity is in your home, watching you sleep? The thing was dark. As I said, it's in the middle of the night right now. This thing is a mass of bad energy, blacker than night. I think I can barely perceive 2 almond-shaped eyes with just the slightest yellow tint staring back at me. My bedroom is fairly spacious. I think this is making this more unsettling. For some context, if for some goofy reason I had a basketball next to my bed, I could easily toss it to the bean. I'm not the most accurate, but I know I could smack it in the chest area. If it has a chest, he, she, or it just sits there. Now that my eyes are adjusting to the night, it looks like this thing is perched on the dresser in the corner. I can barely make out what looks like legs in a squatting position, I guess. The arms blur into a mass of black, but I can clearly see fingers gripping the corner of the dresser. Tendrils might be more accurate, the eyes I mentioned, but I don't want to describe the mouth. Oh God. Sweat is forming as I fight to control the shaking in my extremities. I'm laying on my back, arms at my side, and legs straight. I could be King Tut right now. I dare not move, but I have to see how long has elapsed since I awoke to such rudeness. With the slowest, most painful eye movement in history, and I see that's 3:02 a.m. No. I can feel tears start slowly cascading from my eyes down my cheeks. I still dare not to move. At this point, all I can do is shut my eyes and forcefully pray myself back to sleep. Before I do, I catch one more glimpse of the thing, still perched, still staring in my direction. I could probably still hit him with a basketball with a decent amount of effort. As I somehow drift back to sleep, I remember being 9 or 10 years old. One of the many dumb moments of my childhood comes to greet me. I was showing off my new 410 air rifle pellet gun to a friend that was staying over for the night. After blowing away some helpless Coke cans, my friend said it'd be cool if we started shooting stuff inside of my family's barn. Seemed harmless. We fired off some rounds into the wooden exterior. Then I got one of those brilliant young boy ideas. Let's start shooting some windows. Our barn didn't have any glass windows. The only opening was meant to lead to a contraption for feeding hay into the second level. But my dad kept a collection of window panes ready for assembly in the summertime. It was for a greenhouse, something he and Mom were very proud of. They cultivated multiple beautiful botanicals, along with a plethora of fruits and vegetables. I remember hitting the first window, dead center. It didn't shatter like you would think. The pellet round was small, and the greenhouse glass was thick, maybe a half an inch. It had a tiny hole where the pellet penetrated. My friend and I laughed and moved on. Only a day later, my dad brought me to the barn. He calmly asked me who had shot the window. I was blown away. He didn't even see the hole. And why did he think it was from a gun? Kids, we thought we were so much smarter than our parents. I did what any stupid kid would do. I have no idea, I stammered. I remember looking to his eyes, seeing the look on his face, border on rage, but containment. I'll ask again, son. Why did you shoot my greenhouse glass? I panicked. I blamed the whole idea on my friend. Shameful. He wasn't satisfied. Maybe not 100% sure if I was telling the truth, but he knew that I had something to do with the shooting. He thankfully dropped it, and I received no punishment. I blamed my friend, who did have the idea to shoot the stuff in the barn, which was stupid, but I was the one who decided to impress my friend by shooting out some glass panels. None of it makes sense now to my adult brain. I wake up now, queasy and heart pounding. The beast is still here. Shit, it moved closer. Now for some reason I had a basketball near my bed. I could peg him with a minimal effort. I'm not the most achieved tosser, but I'm confident I could hit it right in the center mass. The panic really starts to set in now. What is this? Why is it here? Why won't it just kill me already? I try to get a better look now that it's closer. Still dark, still staring. It's like a statue with a heartbeat, watching, seething, judging. 24-year-old me. I'm working security for a well-known plaza mogul. I don't work for him directly, but for one of the many companies he created. I'm stationed inside one of his buildings while the Thanksgiving parade commences. This parade is cherished by those of us in this area. I grew up watching this on television every year. In the midst of making sure our area was safe, I caught vision of a homeless man walking through the crowd. Not at all an unfamiliar sight, but he seemed enthralled. He was taking in the spectacle just as anyone else was. Tattered, bruised, broken. He still took a moment out of what I would assume was an awful existence to enjoy the day of thanks. I jolted up. I momentarily forgot that I was sharing my bedroom with a creature from the unknown. I have not moved since I noticed it. Now I'm propped up on both of my elbows, breathing more heavily than I'd like. It's much closer to me now. So much that I could take a golf ball, if I had one near my bed, and just toss it into the demon's face. I am fully conscious now. My thoughts run into my fiancée, asking her to marry me on the Cuyahoga River in Ohio. Her spirit, her love. I'll never know any human person that has so much love to give. I am now entangled in a staring contest with this thing. Shockingly, it moves slightly back, still not making any more noise or giving up any emotion. I decided to blatantly look at the time. 6:30 a.m. Why won't this thing just kill me? I am losing the will to go on. Whatever game this is, I don't have the mental capacity to compute. I'll never be more afraid in my life. It slowly slides back off my bed to its original position. Its movements are sickening, cracking and slimy. Correction, I've never been more afraid in my life until right now. My once dark blinds are now turning a gradual yellow. Moonlight gives way to daylight. The sun is quietly making its daily debut. There looks to be an exposed space of about 8 inches that allows the natural light to shine. Enough light to expose just the most gradual essence of my intruder friend. The light shows only a portion of his left side. I now know that I wish that I held on to the perception I had of it. A being, an entity, a spiritual disaster. The light exposed something that looks human, feral, but human. Its arm has hair up to the shoulders like a dog. Its oblique is strong and scarred. I don't know if this is mental, but the smell of swine protrudes my nose. I followed the vision of this new human entity. from its torso back up to its face. A face that is more illuminated. It's smiling. Several teeth bared, teeth dripping with blood and saliva. I didn't think seeing a human would be worse than seeing a monster. I wish it wasn't human. It's so close. The smell is making me feel lightheaded, like a dead animal carcass baking in the dried heat. The worst part is how bad this smell makes me feel. Physically, it makes me feel nauseous. That part I can try to deal with. Mentally, the smell makes me feel fear. I'm afraid. It should have been better. Better to everyone. I'm such a disappointment. What? What do you want? What do you want? It starts to crawl towards me, smooth but jerky, like a wind-up toy. What do you think, Detective Lungo? The tired senior inspector side-eyed his new partner. He knows a cornucopia of vomit is coming. It might not be now, but it'll be soon. The new detective holds his mouth with a tissue-draped hand. Well, the cut on his neck is jagged. It's like someone strangled him with barbed wire. His entire throat is... Oh, God. The grizzled vet waits for Lungo to return. You were saying? Right. So the Vic looks like he died from strangulation. That's for sure. But the violence needed to flay his neck would need the strength and determination of... Junior detective grabs his CVS bag and pukes into it again. If your guts are empty now, do you have any theories of what happened here, rookie? Lungo has grown to hate his new promotion to detective. 18 years on the force, 10 years under the department's SWAT team, several high-risk warrant arrests, 2 high-profile media-covered convictions. Anyone would call his service into veteran status, but he's a rookie detective. That's the way this fraternity works, and always has. Lungo wipes the last remaining clear drool and mucus from his face. He got his dang neck almost cut in half, Saul. You don't need a gold badge to see that, old man. He knows he shouldn't have snapped at a veteran officer, and the man who volunteered to mentor him no less. But he's not sorry either. He doubts Saul has seen something like this himself, even after all his years in homicide. Saul looks at Lungo, smirking a bit. Yeah, kid. It don't get any easier. You just need to learn how to compartmentalize and move on. Come on, the uniforms have something to tell us. Lungo eyes the old man, now dropping his anger down a few notches. He knows Saul wants the best for him. He should appreciate that more. Lungo finishes up jolting down what one of the first responding officers told him. So, Saul asks, trying to study the new detective to see if it's bad news or worse news. Lungo looks up from his notes, shaking his head. No forced entry. Fiancé is a complete mess, of course, but she says there's multiple cameras on the property, so that's good. Poor girl. Even after hearing the worst news you could ever hear in your life, she wants to help us pull up the camera feeds. Officer Ramirez smartly told her we got a guy that can figure it out. She's on her way to the station now. Good. Saul spoke. Your idea? To get her out of here? Lungo gave a confused, half shake of his head. Yeah. We can't have her here right now while this is so fresh. It's not good for the investigation. And more than that, she shouldn't be here while her husband-to-be has already started the decomp process. Sal tries to stop, but a half smile materialized on his face. Maybe only the Hubble telescope would be able to spot it to the general population, but Lungo noticed. You bet he noticed. This doesn't make any sense. We need to get to the office and start finding out what this guy was into. No prints, no note, no known enemies, and the most basic preliminary calls I've made. What are we still doing here, senior detective? Lungo is unkept. He is more of the go in first and ask questions later. Now he's had to do a 180 and focus only on questioning. Sal takes a seat on the edge of the bed, careful not to set in any DNA. Even though most of it has been cleaned up now, the CSU guys got what they needed, and the cleaner they always use is already well on his way to making his bedroom look like none of this horribleness ever happened. That's his gift. You think it's a good time to sit down, old man? Lungo spits out, cocking his head to one side, not taking eyes off of his mentor. You're right about one thing, rookie. We've been here a little longer than usual. I thought you'd find it way before I did. You're 20 years my junior. People don't write notes today, bud. Lungo immediately gets that rush of, oh shit, I knew it the second it left your mouth. He slowly moves his head towards the Vic's laptop, open but sleeping. God, how did... I even looked. Why didn't... Sal mercifully waves a helping hand at Lungo. It's okay, kid. We all do it. You didn't think it was that important. I get it. Open it up. Lungo does, embarrassed that he made such a huge mistake on a delicate case like this. He hit some random keys to unlock the computer from its slumber. The lock screen appeared. A scenic view of mountainsides. Several Takalele versicolored plants dot the foreground. Lungo only knows this because he had a passion for plant life, something he definitely kept from his brotherhood on the Force. It's been such a long night, Lungo forgot they had already looked at the computer, but it was password protected like every other device in the last 10 years. It's locked, Sal. We already knew this. Ramirez said he's got someone at the station that can figure the password out when we bring it in. Look at the back of the notepad on the laptop, son. Lungo did. Scribbled on the rear of the pad were 4 bold letters, Val. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Lungo asked. Is Latin for goodbye, Lungo. So, you knew this was here the whole time. What the hell's wrong with you? We're trying to figure out a robbery going wrong, a senseless murder, or Lungo stopped. You needed to put it together, son. Type that in for the password. I'll bet you'll find something as soon as you do. Lungo, now feeling a sadness creeping from nowhere, did as he was told. 4 quick keystrokes and the lock screen dissipated, opened a Word document. It looked like our victim was writing something, describing something wicked coming for him. I didn't fully get it. It's a suicide note, Sal. Son of a bitch. Tonight's story was by Blake Blizzard and was titled Terror in the Mind of the Abyss. If you enjoyed the story, please let Blake know. The links to all of his social medias are in the description below. Hey, did you have merch? Crazy, right? But I do, and if you like to walk around representing my realm and gaining new travelers, the links to all my social medias will be in the description below. As always, I'd like to say a special thank you to all my lovely Patreons. 242 Reads, Rando Calrissian, Seraphine, the Midnight Bard, Mia Mina, Hair Raising Nerves, Spooky Boo, Scary Story Time, Lycan Trucker, Awkward Alien Kayla, and Pimp Demon. If you'd like to join these lovely travelers but are light on my fire, you can do so by becoming a Patreon as well. Just remember, the support is always appreciated but never expected. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ding the bell for all future content.
And as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping